They're off. Oh, Hampton Court got a bit of a sandwich there. He got squeezed up by Firehouse Rock and he went out and he cantered into Nazami, but he's being sooled forward in the early part. Royal Standing had bounced away well. He had the lead from Hampton Court, Firehouse Rock and the mighty J-Rod on the outside as they go out of the straight. Prentice just behind them with Magic Cool, who's trying to slot in somewhere. Nazami's on his inside, and then came Bondiga, Gouldian, Preferment, being followed San Padre, and well back as Atmosphere. Light Up Manhattan, Moon Over Manhattan, Lotion, and the Cuban Fighter is back at the end of the field. So it's Royal Standing who goes to the lead now, about 1,800 metres to go. A length and a half in front of Hampton Court. The mighty J-Rod outside Prentice. 2 lengths to Firehouse Rock, and they're being followed by Nazami. A length and a half further back came Magic Cool. One to Bondiga, almost a length away then is Gouldian. Atmosphere's down on the inside as they race out towards the 1,400 metres. They were being followed by San Padre, who's on the inside of Preferment, trailed by Lotion. Light Up Manhattan, Moon Over Manhattan is out deep. And back last is Cuban Fighter. 1,400 left to go now. Royal Standing by 1 length. Hampton Court the favourite up second. They're followed by Prentice, 3/4 away third. 2 lengths to mighty J-Rod. Another 2 lengths away then in the field is Nazami in the blue colours of Godolphin with Firehouse Rock on his outside, and they were being followed then by Bondiga on the inside of Magic Cool. They're being trailed then by Atmosphere, well back on the rails in the pink colours. Gouldian around him and Preferment is wider. Moon Over Manhattan's been 3 wide. Lotion, San Padre, Cuban Fighter and Light Up Manhattan at the end of the field. They're coming down the side now. Royal Standing still has the lead. He's almost a length in front. Hampton Court is second. Right behind them is Prentice, followed by the mighty J-Rod around the outside. Then Firehouse Rock. Behind those is Nazami pushing into a place, and then Atmosphere getting up on the rail. Bondiga's trying to fight his way clear, and Magic Cool is right around the outside. Hampton Court goes to the lead. He's found the front a long way out in the Derby. Leads from Royal Standing. Running on now is Nazami, presenting with a beautiful run, and Atmosphere's got up on the inside. Here's Magic Cool starting to come on the outer now, and Preferment and Bondiga are putting in runs. They come to the 250 metres now, and it's Nazami who claimed Hampton Court, who's gone. Magic Cool is running on, and Preferment and Bondiga are still coming up the middle of the course. Nazami the leader, but Preferment and Bondiga are flying home. It's Preferment and Bondiga racing to the lead together. Preferment on the outside. Ollie's done it again. Preferment by ahead to Bondiga. Close for third, probably.
Yeah, 5th Derby for Damien, going back to I think the first one was a maiden also in Reading. Preferment for Damien Oliver. A 5th for him. A first for Chris Waller. $190,000 a Beale Colt as a yearling, and putting plenty of value on him as a Derby winner yesterday. And the team joins us, Damien Oliver. Ollie, well done to you. And Chris Waller joins us. Good on you, Chris. Big one. Well, perspective for you, Ollie. 5 derbies, and Chris, for you, your first derby, Ollie.
Oh, amazing, Bruce. Yeah, it's you know, it's obviously one of our biggest days of the year, and you know, arguably our greatest collective day of the year. So, you know, to win, you know, the big race on the day is fantastic, and a 5th derby, yeah, brilliant.
On a maiden. And for, well, not now, and for you, Chris, you'd spoken a lot in the lead up to Saturday that not so much a need to prove yourself, but you felt as though there was a lot of pressure on you with people expecting Waller to play a major role in Melbourne.
Yeah, the last couple of years we've grown, obviously, and had a bit of success on some of these bigger days, and it's amazing thing racing. You spend half of your career building yourself, and then the other half it looks like you're going to have to start defending yourself. So there's a little bit of that starting to creep in, and it's probably silly, and I'm only worrying it. Not many other people are. It was even good to get the first winner out of the way yesterday, the first race on Derby Day. It was such a relief, and then the rest of the day unfolded. But to win a Derby, I haven't even worried about thinking about it yet, let alone actually winning the race and remembering it. So that'll come in time, and we've got to make sure that we do remember it, because it was a very special day.
He's a big dopey bugger. When did you say to yourself,
who's that?
Maybe I could take, maybe you could win a VRC Derby?
I don't know. You just hope that they keep improving and keep handling things, and he has. He hasn't been affected by putting pressure on him so early as a young horse. He's eating well, he looks great. The riders are always giving you positive feedback, and his breeding backs it all up, being as a Beale colt. he was never really going to have a problem with the 2500 if he was good enough.
And Ollie, on that point, the horse being not entirely straightforward, how important was it for you to have that experience on him at Geelong to get a feel for him and understand a bit about what it takes to get him into top gear?
Yeah, it was very important. I mean, you can watch all the replays you like, but you never get a true feeling for them until you actually sit on them. And, you know, his first start at Geelong when I rode him probably didn't, when I look back at it now, it was probably coming down the hill as much as anything that he didn't really travel into the race. But I think that experience held him in good stead coming to Flemington on a bigger, flatter track. Chris and I discussed quite a bit after the race, and we wanted to try some gear on him. We put some blinkers on him on the Tuesday morning to give him a bit of a kill so he could beat his companion he worked with, and that gave me a bit more confidence after riding him then. We didn't go with the blinkers on race day. We just thought the big crowd and, you know, the atmosphere of the day can really get the horse on toe, so we decided just hedge our bets a bit and go the winkers, especially with that start right in front of the stand there. We didn't want him blowing the start or anything like that. And
we couldn't afford the horse to be 3 wide, Bruce. Doing it tough from barrier 5 or 6.
Yeah, that wasn't quite in the plan, but...
Well, you can get away with it to some extent. We did at Flemington these days, can't you? It's a momentum thing at Flemington. It seems to be on that circle now as a rider.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst place
You want to be out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
look, if I had a choice, I probably would have rather been there than locked away on the fence on this horse, you know, because he's not a horse that can sprint off being held up. He does need to build his momentum up, and, I mean, shocking won a Melbourne Cup sitting 3 deep.
That's right. Yeah. There you go.
Corey Brown pointed out yesterday after I said to him, "You've shunted me 3 wide on with He's Your Man." He said, "Oh, yeah, I won a Melbourne Cup sitting 3 wide."
Got to say, Richard and Shark too, that Bondiga, great ride, James Winks in defeat. I mean, he couldn't have done any more to get that horse over the line.
It was all the form behind that horse suggested, and that run in the VAR suggested that he'd be super competitive there yesterday, and had the turn of foot at the end of 2,500 metres. Probably just a stronger stay, got the head down at the right time in front of him.
Yeah, look, some years you can see 3-year-old in the Derby. You don't have to be a stayer to win. I think this year you needed to be a stayer to win. It was a genuine speed right from the get-go. Hampton Court, I was surprised they were so aggressive on it.
After the start, too.
Yeah, he looks like a miler, you know, he looks like a miler to me. I might be wrong in the long run, but he looks like a miler to me. We thought that, I think a few of us thought that before the race, but he was too aggressive early.
On that point you make, Rich, that you don't always have to be a stayer to win our derbies. Chris, looking at the Australian staying bred horses or Kiwi staying bred horses, so much talk about that and their place now with all these imports coming in. Is this the sort of horse that can race on and be a real genuine top class locally bred stayer? The fact that this was a stayers derby?
Yeah, for sure. Managed right, he will. Look, he's won a 2,500 metre race yesterday, but he's still learning. He might get sharper. He's not a narrow, typical one-pace staying type. He's actually got a bit of substance to him. So I think he'll sharpen up considerably. And look, we've got about 12 Oaks and Derbies in Australasia. These are the races we should be targeting with all these horses. They've all got lead-up races.
Well, to do that, you need the owners. In this horse, you're blessed. These are a lot of the owners of the backbone of your stable, particularly in this horse.
Yeah, for sure. And look, you don't need to put all your eggs in one basket, but I can just see a massive change coming up with more horses going towards our guineas, going through to the Derbies and Oaks for that simple reason. Golden Slip is hard to win.
Would you have liked the option that used to be there to keep this horse alive in a Melbourne Cup as a Derby winner?
Would have won it for sure, Bruce.
It's embarrassing that the clause isn't there.
So from Chris's point of view, would that have been a serious consideration?
From my point of view, I think the option should be there. It's in everybody's imagination 2 or 3 days before. And then the market, the punters will tell you whether the horse should be running or not. If it's not in the market, well, I wouldn't be running it. If it is in the market, of course you run.
Would you, if you had that option, would you?
I would be having a meeting with the owners today and obviously the jockey and say, look, what are our realistic chances and how's it going to affect him going forward, and do we run or do we not?
What would you say, Ollie?
He's the type of horse that probably could cope with it because he's a strong stayer. I mean, you don't get many 3-year-olds like him this early in the spring in their 3-year-old year that are capable of running that sort of distance. But as you saw there yesterday, that's probably his best run ever, and it wasn't until he got out to a distance that really suited him.
Yeah, maiden wins a Cox Plate, a maiden wins a Derby. Richard, well, imagine that. His first two wins could have been a Derby and a Melbourne Cup. That's